You are now inside the Creative Zone with your hosts, Rob and Logan.
Hey guys, my name is Rob.
And it's Logan.
And you're tuned into another episode of the Creative Zone.
How's everybody doing after their Christmas? I hope everybody is fine out there in podcast land.
Nice. All right, so on today's episode, we're going to dive right in and talk about the streaming wars.
Yeah, but first, we're going to have a little bit of a channel update, as it were.
Yep. Forgot about that.
All right. Our guest, Teddy Valdez, will be here on episode 6, which should drop on the 17th of January.
Oh, the new year.
So he'll be with us. Look forward to that then. Our third man in this think tank of ours is Claude. He'll be here next week to start in the new year.
Yep.
He couldn't make it tonight, but we're always thinking of him. Shout out to the boy.
He definitely gave us a lot of great topics, though. So most of the topics we're going to be discussing came from Claude. So shout out to you, Claude.
Hey, that's how we do.
Yeah.
3-man threat, you know.
Definitely.
All right, cool. Now we can jump right in. It's the streaming wars.
All right, so for those of you who are not aware, Universal is going to launch a Peacock next year. HBO is going to launch HBO Max next year, and there are a couple other new streaming platforms that are about to hit the market. But in terms of streaming platforms, what do you think of these new platforms that are going to enter the market in a couple months?
There's good and bad to everything. On the one hand, it's good for us that we can, somebody should be willing to pick us up for content.
Yeah.
Heck, adding to that list, Spectrum is, there used to be Time Warner Cable, but they're dropping their own original content.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I mean, DirecTV does as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think they count in the streaming equation. Yeah. So creatively, or at least distribution wise, it's great for us.
We forgot to mention Disney Plus, but due to the fact that most of their content is being produced in-house, I mean, they literally have a content machine. Lucasfilms, Marvel, Pixar.
They go on their back catalog and they've got content for days, but they'll be looking for original stuff. So
but even then, they're going to be producing it themselves. The reason why I mentioned HBO Max and Universal Peacock is not most, but a lot of their content is going to be produced by outside parties. Yeah.
No, I agree. And, Netflix is still a big boy on the block. So is Amazon. And they've got offices right here in New York City. So
Hulu as well.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. It's, it's still an avenue for distribution. Hopefully the gatekeepers understand that there are more voices out there than the ones that they always go to, which is what our disdain with modern Hollywood is.
I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Apple Plus also has their own streaming stuff, and it's mostly, let's be honest, white people.
That's what
of their the morning show, C.
Well, C is maybe slightly different. Now we got Alfred Woodard on it, I think. You got a few non-white faces, but the other things,
the main cast,
the other things on there that the one. I'll give C a chance if I happen to come across it or find a way to check it out. But not
the morning show.
The morning show, I have heard about it enough where I'm sorry, you already forced me to form an opinion.
Yeah.
But if I hear something about the morning show from somebody I trust, if you said I actually caught a couple episodes and okay, I'll check it out.
Okay.
Then I'll, like I said, on recommendation, I'd check that out. They're For All Mankind on first blush looked interesting. Because one, it's alternate history, but it's dealing with the space program. But it already started deep in revisionist history for how they're laying out their timeline. So I'm sort of on a wait.
Skeptical.
Yeah, I'm definitely on a wait and see. But it's something that if I go, okay, let me check out new content that and it's from Apple Plus.
Yeah,
it'll be the first one that I would go out, more out of my way of, okay, let me look for this. Now, with the other platforms.
Yeah.
You know, Disney Plus. I've already checked out like the first 4 or 5 episodes of Mandalorian. I'm loving that. That show can do no wrong. Not just for everybody's favorite Baby Yoda, but it fits into Star Wars, like the heart of Star Wars, where it was a space fantasy western. Yeah, and that's what the Mandalorian has fully embraced those roots. Jon Favreau is killing it. He directed like the first 2 episodes, but then handed it off. And there's been this next 2 episodes, at least episode 3, if not 4, where it was a female director.
Similar to what he did with Iron Man. Like he set it up for Marvel and just like,
and they were able to, somebody had it set where you can just take the ball.
Exactly.
But then with so the Mandalorian, I'm looking at that, with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm looking forward to those things coming out to see especially how that's going to fit into the MCU. WandaVision's supposed to be the direct lead into the Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange 2. Okay. And so they're doing things that it's like they know their audience. Yeah. They poked them, they're reeling them in. Their catalog, like I said, far and deep. And as we were saying last week when we were talking about Ryan Coogler, it's when, there seems to be the opportunity out there, and we stumble upon it. It gets thrust upon us after having done our short films and maybe our first feature on the string shoe. Somebody notices what we've done or overhears this and says, oh, they like that. Definitely. Let's get these new voices out there.
Having more buyers in the market is definitely good for content producers. I mean, duh.
Yeah. Oh, BET has BET Plus.
Oh, really? I didn't know
BET has they're trying to do their version of a streaming platform with their content. But BET's been BET for a long time. The modern BET that it would definitely be instead of oh wow they contacted us versus they contacted us, okay, we'll talk, let's see.
My only issue is with that is what content or what catalog does BT have that will keep viewers coming back? Yeah,
well, that's why if BT, I agree with you, and that's why if BT, like I said, contacted us or anyone that we know of that, seeing what they would want as original content. So to me, they might be hungrier for original content, which is good.
Correct, yeah. But
what kind of content would they want? A whole lot of Atlanta kind of stories or The Wire or things of that nature?
Not just that, though, but say, for example, we get a deal from BET, and it's a crazy amount of money. Would we go with BET, or would you go with BET as opposed to go with, like, HBO? I mean, going with BT is like the viewership is not as large as a HBO, and the premium quality content on HBO far exceeds that of BET. So you're gonna have to decide, wait, am I just gonna take the money and people might not actually see my show because it's BET? Or
only a smaller audience.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm saying it's like with BET, it would be negotiation or seeing what one they offer, two they are deciding on what they're asking of us. We want this kind of a show, and we're going after these kinds of creatives. Or is it we want good stories to be told, and this is what we're willing to do to help you bring that to life.
Okay.
And I would expect the same from HBO or Netflix or any of the others.
Absolutely.
But with the others, they have a larger audience already built in, so that Netflix has earned their audience, Amazon has earned their audience,
Hulu, HBO. I'm not so sure about like Peacock, which is Universal.
So
I'm not sure because besides The Office, I'm not really sure what they have in the catalog that will.
Well, they would have all the things that NBC has produced.
Correct, but that's
their back catalog.
Exactly, I'm talking about the back catalog.
But they're Universal, so they would have access to Universal Pictures back catalog. But that's why I'm trying to set up of that. What kind of what they would want in terms of okay, give us your ideas or what are your concepts. So if they just want our New York City story type of stuff, the human interest stuff, that's okay, fine. Everybody can get with that. Yeah. But if BET wants the kinds of things that you see on BET's cable network, from us, then it's like, okay, do I have those kind of, or are you asking me to tailor something that has is a middle class story and change the focus of it to, you know, the non-middle class cousin?
Yeah. All right, let's be honest. When was the last time you watched BET? I haven't watched a show on BET in years. Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Exactly. And it's, you know, I did grow up on BET that, you know, they used to have their talk shows. So my mom, my grandma, my dad, you know, folks like that. The elders would watch it. I sit and watch that. In the early days of Rap City.
Yes.
You know.
With Big Tigger?
Yeah. You know.
The basement,
yeah, in the basement. Those were things.
106 in Park.
Yeah, definitely 106 in Park, because they actually were here in New York, 106 in Park. You know, Lala, that's how she got, you know, that's how she caught the eye of one Mr. Anthony, because he has relatives here. But, you know, there was an ingrainedness there. There was still something I could connect to. But that's the same way with, like, TRL used to be one way, where you'd have the crowds outside in Midtown, outside their office, because it spoke to a lot of people, and they had a wide range of artists on there. To now, they're still doing TRL, but the last time I watched MTV was when they actually still played music in the middle of the day versus at 3 a.m. And it was all reality shows and stuff, where, you know, the joke amongst my friends was, you know, MTV, the music channel that doesn't play music. You know, so where the opportunity comes creatively, it you know, okay, it's thank you. What do you want from us? You know, thank you for the opportunity, and let's talk about what you want from us and what we can give you. These are, as we have a specific eye, and, you know, BT, you want a certain type of story, we'll produce it. We can put our names on to produce it, but something I originally penned is not going to always look like that. It's going to look from a certain thing. You know, I got kind of high concept sci-fi that is, you know, already treated and got you know, a script. You know, we can episode that. Give us the money, we'll put it.
Really?
It feels like
actually produce that for BET.
What I was gonna say is that one, you know, that would be ready to go. And are you interested in that, or is that something, you know, that's something that might fit more on Amazon, Hulu, HBO, one of the bigger platforms, because they expect, you know, they have a sci-fi audience. They have, you know, Netflix. They have an audience who will click on sci-fi or action or whatnot. And BET is
not known for sci-fi.
Is not known for sci-fi, though it should appeal to BET because, as I said, of the characters, of being a wide range of characters who would, you know, maybe easier for BET's audience to identify with. But that's not who BET is.
I mean, you make a good point. You could end up actually rebranding the network. Like what happened with AMC. AMC was known for, like, classic movies.
Yeah, and now they're getting dead, and
no, before The Walking Dead, I think it was Mad Men.
Yeah.
Or was it?
No, Mad Men, but shows like that.
Yes, Mad Men actually launched it into a premium, well, not a premium, but a sub-premium network.
Yeah, to expanding their original offering, you know, their offerings to some original content. And, you know, like you said, there have been all of a sudden sci-fi pops up on other things that wouldn't have been known for sci-fi or certain styles of storytelling. So yeah, you know, it could happen, and that's what I'm saying. I would show what we had and ask is like, well, this is what we have. This is the kind, you know, something, you know, I wrote, yes. But if you want, you know, something that we can produce, we know those kinds of artists we produce for them, you know, you know, we'll have the executive producer, and it's written by this person who was a member of our team. As we were saying, you know, we helped the next Ang Lee get out there because they were PAing for us. Or, you know, our sound guy had, hey guys, I got a script. And so we put a webisode out for him, but then, you know, somebody approaches us,
an executive from a network,
approaches us. What do you guys got? Well, I've got this. Claude's got this. Well, these are the kinds of stories we got. Here's Mike's piece. You know,
I see what you're saying. Okay, so not necessarily our vision, but we are actually supporting
our mission statement.
Okay, gotcha.
And you know, I think we're placed, and we're in a position of, well, at least currently, of how we're seeing ourselves.
Yes.
Of being able to still put out things that line up with our vision.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, and, we warn those coming to work with us of like, okay, yeah, and we're, willing, we want all the voices, but be prepared that in that voice, we're going to help you expand maybe your thinking.
Yes.
Of you, we had somebody from the team who went to University of Wisconsin, but they're, got degrees, they tell a good story, and we've worked with them. They've worked as, grip, sound, light, in a position. But I'm thinking about doing, okay, what do you, we're the producers, so pitch it to us.
Yeah.
Well, it was this, and they come to New York, and okay, cool. Well, I'm with you so far. And you only see them associating with these kinds of people and doing this particular thing and only encountering these kinds of environments, but they're here in New York City.
Yeah.
Concept-wise, I got you, but have you thought about this for their best friend? I'll give you your protagonist, though you've got blonde hair, blue eyes. How about brunette with Eastern European and Mediterranean parentage?
Yeah.
Because we've got good actors that we know who can, they'll give you the same thing. They can still, this is America. All types of, sometimes it may not feel like it, but all types of people are born, with parentage and heritage from all types, from all around the world. And that person being the fish out of water is the kind of story it seems like, is that you're trying to tell. So we put the actress of fish out of water. They can still they're human. So they'll have the same emotions.
Yeah.
They'll have the same thought patterns as the character you wrote. And they are living. You want them to live on, we're telling the story from, Long Island City. But in that environment, from what we read, then you introduced the new best friend at the new job that they're working at as another, they have a carbon copy of them of looking this way. And the only time they meet someone outside of that thought zone is when they go to the, corner store, which is about to get kicked out because now they're going to put a Whole Foods there.
Gentrification.
But you understand what I'm saying? We help somebody like, okay, that's what you wrote. But now for your backdrop, there's a wider story. So there's gonna be, the look is gonna be not what you wrote.
Yeah.
You'll still recognize it. It'll still be your piece, but we're giving you more color, literally a color palette to play with.
But how far do you go without actually not taking over, but like enforcing your perspective on another person's vision? Like, how far do you push? Like,
to the point of at least feeling realistic, feeling authentic.
Okay.
The difference between realism and authenticity. Realism is, showing every scrap of paper on the street. That's New York, that's real, it's dirt. It's people expecting it to be dirty, when in reality, no. We have a municipal garbage service. There's a reason why things look the way they are, because in the city of 10 million or more people on any given day, things have to be done a certain way. But we have services that we take for granted. Regular garbage pickup, in most neighborhoods 3 times a week or more. Now, recycling has gone smoothly, as in introducing mandated recycling started about 2 years, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of backlash. It was just something, okay, there's something more we got to do. We accept it. But there wasn't ever a letter where you're saying, we're introducing recycling and that you have to separate your plastics and everything, and you also have to pay a new city tax for it to be instituted, or that stuff will just sit in front of your house and never be picked up. It was, we're introducing recycling across the 5 boroughs, get blue bags, we're giving, the city gave recycling receptacles, the brown plastic and blue trash cans.
Yeah.
The city, they just, like for me at least, and I know for other those with, lived in smaller apartments and their own homes, the city just put out the bins. They just showed up in front of your door. You didn't have to go to a special place to pick them up. They were provided by the city. I never saw a charge on the real estate tax or on, it was never a direct charge. There was never a letter, you owe the city $100 for these receptacles now. So, I'm saying something that we living here, we take for granted because it's, the municipality pays for it. The city is designed for, you're going to have to pay for some things. Yeah. But if there's a city, it's a city service, is a city service. So putting in that, we show surprisingly, it's New York City, but the streets are clean, well swept, things look a certain way. Be like, oh, that's not real.
Looks literally like a studio back lot.
Yeah, it looks like a studio black lot, but we're shooting outside.
Exactly.
And, the only thing we did was run lines so that we had power to our lights and cameras. Yeah. The city was, that block where we got the permit to shoot was the way that block was was when we scouted it.
Gotcha.
And people are going, we've got to dirty it up just to make you get what you expect. No, people in our, New York City neighborhoods care about their environment. And so a new writer, a new artist coming to us that we're helping to bring their original vision to the screen, to a audience that we've built, would hopefully be able to accept, they wanted to show the gritty side of life, but it's like, yeah, you can have gritty and not have to give a bad expectation. People expect New Yorkers to be mean when it's easy to prove that if somebody's, I've been in Midtown and somebody, I slipped on a patch of ice and picking myself up. Yeah. Total stranger, female passing by me stops and goes, oh, are you okay? Like, thank you very much.
Like we don't have to show the stereotype of what people think.
Yeah, with somebody in Peoria, Illinois thinks they hear New York City and they instantly hear gunshots and police sirens. We're showing what we feel is the real New York of people. We've got thousands of public parks and where people will congregate and walk and live their lives, and everybody's just trying to be happy, find happiness in and of themselves. And it's not monochromatic as was done a lot in the past of, you hear Harlem, that's always like, no, it's not anymore. Exactly. And even then it wasn't always. Yeah. And it was, Spanish Harlem and Harlem, you'd have to have been born here and had parents who were born here so that you knew where the division between Spanish Harlem and Harlem actually is. Because if you got feet on the ground and you're there, you cross the street, you're suddenly in Spanish Harlem, but you wouldn't know it until you think, oh, Spanish Harlem, on the map it says it begins here, but I didn't start to see, bilingual signs until I got to 145th and Lexington. And, that kind of, but somebody watching, the movies make me think that this. TV shows make Law and Order makes me think, and you walk across the street, you're gonna get shot, raped, stabbed. I'm gonna hear that dun, 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 music every time. Oh yeah, they're okay. I see police cars. That's what I expected. A tourist.
That's actually a very good point. You watch Law and Order, you see like the worst of New York.
Yeah,
and if you're not from New York, you're gonna be like, yikes.
I don't ever want to go there. Why do for a Broadway show? Is it really worth it? But yeah, we get literally millions of tourists every year coming over and over again. Yeah, and they, I know personal experience. I've helped plenty of people go. They muster up the courage, I guess, and go, excuse me, can you help me find this? And they whip out a map, or now it's they pull up their phone and they're trying to they're trying to get somewhere, and it's like it says over here, oh, that's another block over, or right around right across the street and a little to your left, because the building number wasn't on and they were expecting it, things like that. So I know it's partly how I was raised, but I feel I was raised I'm raised in New York. I'm raised from a similar environment, I wasn't raised in a bubble. I interacted with people and was raised to think a certain way. So I'm not isolated in that. And showing someone else, if we have to take them around and go, okay, your story is a good human story, but this is also where you've based your story in, and what do you see?
Do you think that gives you like an unfair advantage though? Like you grew up around a diverse like population, and then you come across a filmmaker who's just like, all white characters or all Asian characters or whatever.
I can say that,
for example, all right, with your upbringing in New York, you're able to tell diverse stories.
Yes.
Like you don't only tell a black character, but you can tell an Asian character, you can tell a Spanish character, or a white character, because you've interacted on various levels with people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're able to provide different perspectives of different individuals. Like not all white people think the same, not all black people think the same, not all Spanish people think the same.
Yeah.
And due to your upbringing, you're like, oh yeah, I have that perspective.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, and I agree that my thinking always, yes, my upbringing has colored my thinking in that sense of what I'm looking for and trying to tell a story, that I don't see it odd to spread out a character type.
Exactly.
And make it, your gangster, your person who you would think is a detriment to society, the criminal character. And to me, it would not be my first go-to. I don't have a knee-jerk reaction to make that criminal look a certain way, that it's going to be a black person, it's going to be a Hispanic person, it's not going to be it might be an Asian person who's at the end of everything, that's who was pulling all the strings. Or the capo, the lieutenant was could
be a female.
To me, it colors where I can see that it being not who you would expect it to be. The person who was the kingpin is, the Hispanic female, where more times than not, it's a white male who is the kingpin, and maybe he convinced other ethnicities to
do his work,
to be in between him and the actual committing of the crime. And then, at the end, our heroes finally confront the big bad, and it was this cookie cutter villain, where it's me. I have them being, the Hispanic female. Oh, you finally got me, and here's the reason why I've been doing it. But I put a different face there, and I have not a second thought, and I will never. It would never be a thought of me immediately of, oh, that's kind of unrealistic. I don't, no, I know that people, no matter what they look like, are capable of anything, and so if the character is compelling, you'll believe that this character had the motivation to be who they were, what they did, why.
Exactly.
And, when they get the villain gets their comeuppance, you're like, yeah, okay. You're satisfied that the villain got it, not because they were not, white or non-white, or if, male. It was a female. It was that the character, the villain, is who you hated.
It forces the audience to focus on the character's actions instead of their race or ethnicity.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I aim for. And in the modern visual language, nowadays it'll be more compelling, or definitely an interesting choice, a subversion of the trope, of the villain trope, that it was not the old white male who was, doing all the good or doing all the bad. And as we were saying last week, that I'm, in the previous episodes, it won't be, I aim for it not to feel forced. That, oh, well, it's a black director and he's going to put a non-white person in there. I made a choice. The story called for it. If it's a story I wrote, it was there. Or the script was brought to me, hey, this is our next project we're going to produce. You're attached to direct, and so who do you think we should start getting for these roles? And it says, John Smith. Does it have to be John Smith? How wedded is the writer to that? Because I've been asked that question before of, had you ever thought about making? It's like, possibly, or no. That's one or two answers. Can you make your hero white? I could. but I don't plan to. Can I make the villain black? Or can I make the villain white if you want to, if you want to play power dynamics? Or wait, the villain was already white? Why? Because only, there are only white CEOs? No. They're only, white, they're only male CEOs, who was ruining a town. No, we want a person to go to jail at the end of this law drama.
Exactly.
What do you think about it being, an Asian female? Because and we can make it, and if it has to be, we can add adding a scene to your 120 page script of where we establish it's a flashback. We established that she was born in America, but her parents are old school from Hong Kong, and they in the 90s when it switched over from Britain back to China, they decided they're not going to stay. They came here. Dad already had money and just built the backstory explains this character's motivation. So they were raised in a certain way. Mm-hmm. They thought a certain way. They were raised to be a go-getter and not care. And after a while, they stopped caring about who they were trampling on to get the power, to get to the top. And their ruthlessness has shown, and people not paying attention to who was in the room. And she started to play on that. And that's why now our villain is this. Okay. And then at the the final confrontation, it's it was you. That either comes as a surprise, but it'll be organic and germane to the story. And I think we can make it work. What is it? Well, I never thought of it that way. Exactly. That's why you're working with us versus working with somebody who would just another. Oh, okay. Haven't seen that 1,000 times. It's an interesting story. And you had the expected cast of characters. Yeah. And it looked the expected way. It'll work. It'll, in some realms it'll make money. If it was done well, it'll make its money. It'll get its accolades. And if it wasn't done well, it won't. But the same can be said of, let's give them something different. Or give them what's not expected.
Give them something different.
Yeah.
Now, I think we went way off topic with the streaming.
Yeah, let's go back to the streaming one. Well, it got into, what we would do with, what kind of offers we would take. It all depends on, I think I would like to ask them all the same thing of what do you want from us in the way of what we're generating. I will give BET a sci-fi show. Okay. Because maybe they, if they've never had one and they're like, well, we don't usually put that out, but do you think only, Do you only think that black people are monolithic when you yourself are trying to show that they're not? The young kids just out here on the street keeping your ears open. Yeah. African American boys and girls out here, they're talking about things that they watch from other cultures. They're big into anime, and anime always has sci-fi stories in it. Yeah. And so thinking, and they go to see Marvel movies and they went to see Black Panther in droves. So saying that your audience, if BET gives us I don't think our audience would like that. I would like to say different, but if you're really married to that and dead fast to that, I'm going to take the story elsewhere. I'll take it to HBO. And they're like, okay, well, we'll sell it to everybody. Mm-hmm. And in that, I would look to see that, still bringing along the audience that I'm aiming it for. It's a story that'll appeal to everybody, but I know there'll be black people in there, and I'm going to promote it myself, in the promotion, in the press tours of promoting I hope everybody likes the story, but I also hope it reaches, it expands the imagination of everyone. Yeah. And visually, I hope it inspires those who see it, so I can drop subliminals of it inspires the young black girl to want to be, shoot for the stars, to be the astronaut, or a young black boy, and can be politically expedient in not, saying everything you want to say, but still giving the hints to it if I have to. Okay. So not to, ruffle the network feathers, the streaming service feathers, because I think with that would come that there are constraints that you have to live with, and you fight the battles that you can. Yeah. you decide which swords you're gonna fall on.
I want to get back to that, but I have a question. What's more important to you in terms of a content creator, in terms of like networks and such? Is it the quality of the network or the financial reward? Like, if you had to choose between those two?
Because I would look for I automatically try to look for the balance, but I get what you're saying.
Because, all right, say for example, you have a new network, Network 2.0, whatever, like a new streaming platform, and they're offering you $10 million for a season of your sci-fi show. And then you have an established network that's offering you half.
$5 million to do the same thing.
Exactly. What would be more important to you? The quality of the network, which the established network is way better. They have a lot more subscribers. They're known for quality programming. And then you have the new network who's trying to establish a brand.
I think I'm about 60-40 on. I might go with the new network because they're
financial compensation.
No, because that new work, they're throwing that financial compensation in there because they're trying to start out. So they were I could see them trying to make a bigger splash.
Okay.
Or because you would expect it to be the other way around, of that the big network would be where the money is, of that they HBO gives the 10 million, but Network 2.0 only can come up with 5 million, but they're putting all of their weight behind that 5 million.
Well,
versus
with the current streaming climate, the newer networks are the ones with all the money. Well, not all the money, but they're the ones that are throwing out the big money at these creators.
That's what I'm saying. You would expect it to be the other way around, but I see that the current environment is that Network 2.0 is the startup. They've raised all their capital, they got their valuation, and they're okay, we want content. We like what you got, and here's 10 million.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. To me, that's why it feels like they're behind. They're hanging in their hat on these 5 new shows that they put 10 million each behind, and we're one of them. Whereas HBO has 10 new shows. Each got, they both had 50 million. HBO had 10 shows with 5 million apiece versus the new network has 5 new shows with 10 million apiece.
Yeah.
And it's not 10 million is 10 million, but it's like, okay, I'm one of 10 that we're doing a press junket for. We're going to be on HBO now, or Max and Plus, we're doing their press junket.
Exactly. Versus
it's you, me, Claude, we're up there on stage with the other 4 creative groups. Because we're one of 5 versus we're one of 10, and we're all the way at the end, on the stage, but we only got 5 minutes, whereas one of 5, we got 10-15 minutes at SDCC and NYCC and here, there, and everywhere doing the press tour.
Oh, so you're obviously the newer network will pretty much invest more into you, not just money wise, but in terms of other resources, press and whatnot. So you'd rather take that over the established brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when Netflix, taking that example, it seemed that was what Netflix was doing when they first okay, we're going to produce our original content.
House of Cards.
Yeah, House of Cards and some of their other shows that they had out of, when they started, back in, when it's sad to say the early days, but when the early days was 5 to less than 10 years ago. But in their earlier offerings, they were doing, when you saw Netflix original, you kind of perked up, you looked and gone, okay, let's see what they're doing. Because they were throwing money, they threw money at creatives, and they also gave those creatives the room to, okay, here's money, go tell your story, and we can get you Kevin Spacey, we can get you Helen Hunt to be in this show. And be in your story, be in your show, or at least pop up every now and again as a recurring character. And it's like, okay, these are tools I didn't, when I wrote this, when I put this together, I didn't have it, but you're giving it to me. Yeah, let's see what I can do with all this opportunity. Versus now it's, okay, here's 5 million.
Yeah.
We think you can do something, but, can you show me what, let's see what you got. And if it works, then we'll give you 7 million for the season 2. So it's, I would maybe... and being, I feel like we could be closer to that startup ideal of that network 2.0 of, like I said, we're one of 5.
Yeah.
And I, try not to forget our roots of, we were young, we were we were a startup as well. We were just getting out there.
Exactly.
And we're still hungry. We still deep down are that hungry.
Yeah.
This is our first big opportunity on a streaming platform. Let's do it. Now, if Disney rolled up and said, well, we want that idea though. It's original and here's 20 million. Then it's like, and what exactly do we have to do? Do we have to tie it in on one of your other, I'm asking questions, but it's like, okay, well, we got 3 good offers. Guys, huddle up.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave anything on the table and don't want to miss an opportunity.
I mean, the reason why I asked that question is because J.J. Abrams had an opportunity. Well, he had an offer from Apple for like twice the amount that Warner Brothers was offering, but he went with the Warner's deal because established brand and also a lot more access and resources to other divisions of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's why it's, it's not something that a decision I would make lightly, and it's not something that I'm fortunate not to be able to have to bear the burden of making it alone. Because if it's 2-3, if it's a 2-1 vote, and you guys want to go with the established brand
for half the money,
which
is what JJ did.
Yeah, for half the money, but with bigger benefits down the line.
Exactly.
I would go. Okay, I can see where.
So on one hand, you're taking the money up front, and trying to trust a new network, and on the other hand, you're taking less money up front, but you're trusting the established brand that it will pay off. So either way, you're making an investment.
Yeah. And with the new network, that if it succeeds, you're part of the reason why it succeeds.
Absolutely, yes.
With the established brand, it's succeeding already.
Exactly.
And your show was able to rise above the other 9.
Yeah.
To be a success on its own. It's the strength of your show versus the strength of that network going, network 2.0 is remembered for your show. It had that one good show, but the other 4 shows weren't that hot.
Yes.
Then it's like, it's still the strength of what you were doing. You were remembered. Hey, I remember your show. It was great.
Yes.
It was a shame it was only on this network 2.0 versus, oh, you've been working for HBO? That's cool. You're remembered for who you're working for versus what you did in one sense, Sure. But if you can rise above and be the best thing on HBO, then that reflects directly on you no matter what.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. And then speaking of established networks, you have AMC Mad Men, House of Cards, Netflix. Stars Power.
Yeah, Power.
Exactly.
Encore has a Godfather of Harlem.
Okay.
And, but that is something that you can find on, they start on Encore, like first run, or on Sunday when it drops, it's on Encore. But then on Monday, you can pick it up on Amazon, or at least they did a thing.
Oh, really?
Or they did a thing where its first couple of episodes premiered simultaneously on Encore and Amazon Prime.
Oh, wow.
Video, because that's how Claude and I, we were sitting there watching, and he's like, hey, have you seen, and it was available on Amazon Prime. And
multi-network programming.
Yeah, there's also those kinds of deals. So with all these streaming platforms, as a creative, it's fine. But the cons, as a consumer,
yes,
I think that's where we're running into the problems already, and things that as just another average consumer, where I'm putting as an average consumer when all this started. People go, oh, cut! You remember the big thing? Cut the cord, cut the cord.
Yeah.
I first thought about it like
a la carte. Okay.
Yeah. But I thought of it like, okay, I understand what you're doing, but I make I'm working hourly wages. I get paid twice a week. I'm paying X amount using Time Warner. And, it's not perfect, but I can, I'm still getting to watch all the stuff I want to watch because of all the channels. Yeah, I got to do channel surfing, but, I go to the Sci-Fi Channel. I'll go to USA,
TNT,
TBS. AMC, and whatnot.
FX.
Yeah, I can find what I'm looking for, and I know what channel it's on. And I'm paying X amount, $200 a month for my cable bill.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just throwing numbers.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
$200 a month for the cable bill.
It's not way off though, but yeah.
Yeah, $200 a month for the cable bill, along with all my other expenses. I'm covering my spread. But now, your Netflix comes along, and that's when it first dropped. It was $5.99 a month. Okay, cool. Now it's $14 for Netflix.
Close to 15. I think I pay 15.
Yeah, but then when it first dropped, it was okay. You have Netflix, and that's $6 a month.
Yes.
All right, $60.
72.
I was gonna say I always do it where I add the 10, multiply by 10, then add the next 2 to get what you get for a year. But $72 a month, that's fine.
A year.
A year. I mean, a year.
Yeah.
Mess with me, bro. But okay. So but Netflix. So that's $72 a year when it was just Netflix. We can, I can eat that. I can add that on, and I've still got cable. So that's
where this is going.
$272.
I like it. Yep.
Okay. Now, a year later, 2 years later, then Amazon drops Amazon Prime, and Hulu was out at the same time. But there was at that time Hulu you got free.
Yes.
And I was finding great stuff and second run stuff on Hulu for free. And then even when they introduced their pay scale, so you had Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, yeah. Right? And they're all about the same price. With Amazon, they tied it into their Amazon Prime, which it still is now. So you pay your monthly or yearly subscription to Amazon, you get Amazon Prime Video.
Exactly.
They were still rebroadcasting basically things that were already shown on other networks.
Yeah.
Fine. So say they're all, so now it's, 44, 200 and 72 times 3, $206. And I still got my cable bill.
Damn.
That's all of them being about 6. What I'm saying. The math. So it's like, okay, that was supposed to. Well, you got these 3 channels. You'll find all the things you want, but not really because I can't get AMC.
Exactly. But at this point, you're keeping cable just for the other channels.
Channels and the local network programming because you can't. You still need the cable.
Yeah.
And they're streaming. So fine. Say you cut. You go to You're at that, say this, that puts it about 2010 or so, between 2010 2012. You got the big 3 of streaming right now. And so I go, okay, I can't pay that $400. Mm-hmm. So I gotta tell Time Warner, okay, I want to get rid of my cable or drop it down to 50 so I can keep my internet yeah. And can I keep my basic package so I can keep my local channels, 247 and New York 1.
Gotcha.
And okay, so that's down to 50. So now it's $266 a month. So okay, I'm paying $66 over what I used to.
Wait, $266 a month?
Well, that's...
Yeah, I know we're hypothetical, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the 3 channels at $72 a year. Not a month. It's 2... so... Okay. Yeah, I'm messing
Just say a lot. Just say a lot.
I'm paying per year.
Yeah.
Per year, I'm paying that, 52... That's still $250 a year for the internet and basic cable at $50 a month.
Okay.
That's $250 plus
$50 a month for basic cable. Yeah, it's actually way past $250.
Well, $50 a month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
50 times 10 is 500. Yeah. So you're talking about $600.
Yeah. See, just to keep your cable on, and if you don't have the cable, you can't stream the networks.
Exactly.
So okay, that's $600 a month down from the $2,000.
Gotcha.
So there's a savings. It was a give and take. But now you got all of these channels, and some of the to move. I've set the foundation. I've messed it up a bit. But you got where I was going with it, and you understand. That to me it was always a financial consideration.
Yeah.
And now that you have all of these packages and Disney Plus is out there, and they've got the things that I want to see because of the brands.
But would you say Disney Plus is a great deal?
because they're still doing $6. They're at $7.
$7.
Yeah, they're about $6.99. Yeah, like $6.99 plus tax per month. And I'm still got my Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But Netflix now has jumped up to $15. Like you said, $15
a month.
Hulu went from you had to have if you kept it free.
They still have their two plans for, I think one's for $7.99 and then one's for $11.99.
Exactly. They went for 2 plans, but they cut out the free part where you had to watch the ads in there, which I was fine with watching ads.
Yeah, but now the $7.99 plan, you do watch ads. You still pay for it.
You're paying for ads when paying for it, you were supposed to be not with the ads. So Hulu is, Hulu's lost its, Hulu is hoodwinking people of like, wait, all the other places, if I go on YouTube, I have to watch ads, but I'm still getting it free.
Exactly.
Though that they have YouTube Red, that, and that's another streamer that we can put out on, so like I said, as a creative, it's kind of the world is ours, but as that consumer, trying to tell my my friends and relatives and my audience that hey, I'm out there, but
oh wow, that's so amazing! You're absolutely right. As a content creator, which you are, it's great because there are more buyers in the market. You have HBO, you have Amazon, you have Hulu, you have YouTube, you have Netflix, and the list goes on and on. But as a consumer, you're wanting people to actually watch your content, it's actually much harder. Yeah. Because they have to subscribe to all these platforms.
Yeah, and it's not
Peacock, HBO Max, Showtime, Stars,
BT
Netflix,
Plus, all of that
BT Plus, Hulu. It's like, whoa, this really adds up.
Mm-hmm. It's not the savings that they were actually taking.
Exactly.
Reporting.
When everyone wanted a la carte.
Yeah, or if it's a savings now the savings is, as we, doing that math, it's over $2,000 for what is now Spectrum, right? It's saying that $200 a month, which is, they've gone up a bit, but it still has stayed steady to keep the math simple. Say you're, paying the $200 a month for your internet, and that's the thing with Spectrum. I wasn't just paying for the cable. I was paying for all those channels plus the internet,
gotcha.
The access to the internet. And you can go to where now it's just that you're getting the internet from them because you're paying for all those channels, but where, the savings has gone from, okay, you get basic cable and your internet and you're only paying that $50 a month, it's down to $600 and you're paying well over $300 for that. So fine, you saved about $1,000. Yeah. Now you save maybe $500. And what's stopping it from, okay, now you're only saving, $250 to now it's the savings is minuscule. You're saving $100 a year versus if you just went with your local cable company to get your internet and the channels that they offer, and your cable company is trying, Charter and Spectrum are trying to offer their own original content. Who do I tell, so if I'm going to put out there as a content creator, but a content creator who's still trying to be aware of his consumers. Yeah. Who do I tell, do I say, okay, you've got to buy that HBO Max subscription to see our sci-fi show?
Exactly. My question say, for example, we did decide to go with the new streaming platform, streaming platform 2.0, whatever, and they give us a 10 million. My most important question would be, what are you going to do to attract viewers to your platform?
Thank you.
Because giving us 10 million is great, but then if no one sees our show, it's like, hey, watch our sci-fi show on streaming platform 2.0. What is that? What is how do we... How
do we get that? Is there any other way for us to get that?
Oh, another $15 a month? I don't think so.
Yeah,
So that's my most important question. What do you plan on doing to get an audience to your platform? And also, and this is actually way more important, what do you plan on doing to keep audience? Because I don't want them to get the network, watch our show, and cancel it.
I agree. That's all I'm saying. One, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, because if I forget to ask that question, there's another person on my side in the room who remembers to ask the question. Or we're all three hearing the pitch that we're being offered from Network 2.0, and it's, I'm asking about creative control. Claude's asking about distribution. You're asking about what the overhead split is, and then we all pause, and then it's like, yeah. So then, okay, fine. We put our show out here. Who's going to hear about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what do you're investing in us, but we are investing in you. So, how long is your rate that we can recommend your channel? So people see the 5 offerings, us being one of them. We're 1/5 of your offering.
Exactly.
You're gonna your network 2.0, and part of your hook is these 5 completely original properties.
Yes.
That have great production value, and our service is only $2.99. How long is it gonna stay $2.99?
Exactly.
We're part of your launch. So is it $2.99, and all of a sudden 6 months from there, when we're planning on season 2, people are leaving you because you're now going up to $5.99 only 6 months in? Or is it 3 years from now?
Or not only that, but say for example we're one of 5 shows, right? The other 2 shows got canceled, and then the 3rd show on your network is not doing so well. Then now what? We have 2 shows, just us and the other person. And
us and one more person who are carrying your show.
We're carrying your network.
Carrying your network. And for us, that does mean we're carrying a network. So that means we have more asking power.
Leverage, yeah.
Yeah, we have leverage. We have leverage, but.
That also puts more pressure on us.
Yeah, it puts more pressure. We have leverage. It puts pressure on us, but it also means that it's like, look, Network 2.0 executives, it's us and, that period piece that is running, that is carrying your show. You're looking for other shows to put out there because, like you said, 2 of them got canceled. One's not doing so hot, but just enough to survive. Yeah. We're all going into our 2nd season, ready to produce our 2nd seasons, but it's us and that period piece that now you've upped our budget to $20 million because we're carrying your network, and you're still trying to bring along a couple other shows. Yeah. You've asked us, okay, this is doing great. We want you to keep producing your sci-fi show. And can you start thinking of another show? So we can be, it's like, well, fine. That means now it's $20 million for both shows because, it's like now the 2nd show that you want us to bring out that's completely different from this that you're going to put on. We can see the offering from the producers from the guys who brought you Black Sci-Fi.
I don't mind being the Shonda Rhimes for your network.
Oh, you ain't said nothing but a word, bruh. To where it go, RKP Collective Land.
Exactly.
Will be up there, which is not a bad thing.
Exactly.
You've got, all, and with Shonda Rhimes, they've all run a theme. They are similar shows. Yeah. But that's not a problem. It's, we pivoted from sci-fi, or it's, with sci-fi, you can do spinoffs of it's, okay, our main character, everybody's loved the show. It's what he's been doing, what our main character's been doing in the world of here and now, but he's an alien from another dimension to his early days. Yeah. So now is the show of all the adventures that they've only referenced, or of the early days when he was back in his dimension as a younger person before he ended up on Earth, or a person, what the second character was doing before or after this. We spun it off.
Yeah, like The Walking Dead. I think they have like 3 or 4 spin-offs.
Yeah, they're just getting into their 3rd spin-off. The second spinoff.
This is the second one. Okay.
Yeah, this is a second spinoff about kids who grew up where they were either born into the world of the zombies or they were little kids when it started, so they don't have a memory of the world before. There's an inciting incident involving.
So this is not Fear the Walking Dead. What is this one called?
This is they had just put out. And it's not called like The World of the Walking Dead, but it's a okay. But it's about a bunch of kids who are their town became they grew up in a town that the zombies are a threat, but there's a
like a minor threat.
It's a minor threat because there's a system in place with a town of like
quarantine.
5,000 people, or hundreds of people, but they've got an actual town that is part of their school education is, and this is how you handle the walkers, or I forgot what these kids would call them. Not everybody's gonna call them walkers, not everybody, but this is how you handle the creatures. It's part of their everyday life of beyond the walls. This is what you expect. If you grow up to be a forager, this is the you get combat training. If but you're in politics, you have to make sure everybody gets fed, how to do our resources. And so that concept is actually kind of interesting. And I saw like a trailer at New York City Comic Con that they showed right after or during the Walking Dead panel. And
that's also something I wanted to touch on. All right, say for example, with an established network, they have a lot of big properties. Say for the Game of Thrones, 10 to 15 million viewers. Yeah. And then right after our show comes on. That's a built-in audience. Yeah, and that's how a new network, you don't have a built-in audience. Yeah, you got
to build in the audience, and you got to do a lot more legwork and groundwork. Like I said, we would have to do more out in front of people doing the con circuits, which first initial time doing it would be fun. To me, I think that would be fun. Yeah. Yes, it's work. It's a lot of traveling, but it's still getting up there. You got fans of seeing people, show up, and you're getting to show them the trailer. Maybe we show them the first 5 minutes. There's things to do because that new network is trying to get themselves out. We're a tent pole for them.
Exactly. Perfect. A tent pole. Yes.
Yeah, we're a tent pole for them.
So Power is for Stars. Yeah. Or Game of Thrones was for HBO.
Yeah. Well, HBO existed, but Game of Thrones put HBO into a whole nother realm. Yes. And opened up, knocked down the doors and opened. But the same thing with The Walking Dead with AMC. Once that got caught on, it was okay. They had Mad Men, but they're still a cable thing. Now it's The Walking Dead and AMC, and it allowed AMC to do other things. Absolutely. Versus, we're on cable, and now we're on cable. Tune into The Walking Dead. And thank you for watching. You're gonna, either watch because you like AMC or not. And we have a couple of interesting shows. Now it's, download AMC's web, app. Yes. So that you can catch up on old episodes of Walking Dead or see The Talking Dead, right on your phone.
I think that's more intriguing to me, like us actually building a network with our content. Yeah. Or creating our own network.
Yeah, So no, I agree, and that's why I'm saying that it would be a tough call of money is necessary no matter who offers it so that we can get our content made. But do we want to build? Be a part of a building effort, which I would think it would be part of their pitch. We're offering you $10 million and you'll be on the programming board because you're one of we're launching and launching with the 5 titles. You're one of them. Yeah, you're here. You're a linchpin. Versus, like I said, the setup was we're one of 10 for HBO Max, and it's we're putting $5 million behind you, and you're gonna do the con circuit, and we're looking for big things. The story looks good. We believe in you guys, but if you fail, you fail, and we still got 9 others that somebody's gonna catch on.
At least 1 or 2 might catch on.
Yeah, and hopefully you're one of them. But they're approaching us with a. Wait and see. They're approaching us cautiously versus us approaching that someone else cautiously.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, you're gonna are you gonna be around? HBO, if all 10 shows failed,
they're still gonna be around.
They're gonna still be around
with their catalog.
And they can fail. They can try again with another. It's like, okay, that show didn't work, but at least your first couple of episodes had a big had big numbers as far as streaming goes. Whatever their rubric is, so that do you have anything else? What other ideas do you have? That one didn't quite catch on, but maybe we can relaunch it if we change the focus a little. Back to the drawing board for you guys, but it hasn't closed the door with us. It just something went, that didn't quite catch on. But you did produce 10 episodes. We liked what we saw. The critics liked what they saw, but the fans had too many things. You were one of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And you did have at least a steady fan base. Okay, cool. And also, I think their threshold might be lower where, for Network 2.0, we've got to pull in 5 million downloads or views every episode. HBO's like, you pull in 1 million, you'll be fine. Yeah, you're doing good. You're guaranteed a second season. Yeah. And, so it's as creatives, we want to tell stories.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we've had the conversation and start to really think of, but this is what we want to do with our lives. We are a business. We are a brand.
Absolutely.
And, I'm
brand that wants to be around for the long term.
Yeah, we want to be. Long time, and so I understand branding, but I know you are great at it. That's how I, took notice of you, and you took notice of me of like, this brother knows how to brand himself.
Thank you.
And, so I'm listening to what he, it's like, hey, have you ever thought of, yeah, I have, but I haven't had time to think, had the time to talk about that. Or I'm trying, but I'm having to write, direct, look to be on projects that I, and slowly try to build up my brand, my reputation.
Absolutely.
So now reputation equals brand.
Yes.
Trying to build that up slowly, but now another person in there. Yeah, that, opens it up. One, it opens the opportunity. Two, it's, okay, we're both working towards the same thing of now I can, okay, you got your brands out there and you remember to, it's like, and while, now my go-to editor is this guy. My go-to director is Logan.
Yes.
And, we're about to make another thing. Somebody that you have in actually, real world circumstance of someone you knew that you were working with prior. And I have a great team.
Yes.
Behind me. And now the things I was doing with you before, I can now do even more.
Exactly.
Because it's now, you won't be just getting me, you're getting our KP collective.
Exactly.
So you're not just getting Network 2.0, you're getting, super sci-fi adventures of Black Wizard in space.
Yeah.
Plus, the period piece about, Lady Jane Grey and another Victorian piece that is supposed to be a steampunk drama. Mm-hmm. And, then you're getting a slice of life slice of life New York piece, and then you're getting and a cop show on Network 2.0, and it's okay, it's like, yeah, watch us and the other great shows on Network 2.0. And I thank Network 2. We're up there. We thank Network 2.0 for the opportunity. And, we've checked out the other shows. And I think the Lady Jane Grey has some legs. And I'm interested in seeing what they do. Hell, even if you look, Concierge number 3, I did a cameo because, we all in the same building with meetings, and it was like, hey, you want to come over? And exactly. The director of Lady Jane Grey is alien number 6 in the corner, who looks very human but isn't, all of a sudden turns into a giant blob. Yeah, that was the director for episode 3 of Lady Jane Grey. Because we're Network 2.0. We're kind of a family here. We're
exactly.
trying to, there's things you can do where with, HBO, it's, maybe you meet some of the other, we meet, the only times we meet are we're at the kind of, oh, okay. But in that, there'll be some talking.
True.
And at, the network party, because, the network gathering, they always like to, everybody likes to always say, hey, these are the people that you might cross paths with, and trying to talk up all 10 shows, all the other 9 shows of, I've seen, and, I used to watch the Game of Thrones, or I've only seen a little of the Game of Thrones, and they're doing this spinoff over here, and it looks great. Hey, who doesn't like dragons? But not really,
Yeah.
Versus, other guys that were down in the trenches. They want the other 4 shows want to succeed as much as we do. They're going to talk us up. We're going to talk them up. And 2 years from now, it's, we're making a feature that we're putting on Network 2.0 instead of, but and it involves this, and, it's based on the show, and it's going to be one of 5 features that they're also putting. And yes, we're coming out with season 3.
Yes.
Because we've been here with Network 2.0, and their bottom line has grown, and we've grown with them.
Absolutely.
And then, and then also I got tapped on the shoulder to write Sony Picture as well. But my heart will always be with Network 2.0. And yes, I'm still involved with season 3 and everything I'm doing there. But the Sony one is something completely different that, everybody got to get a chance to, it's on.
Exactly. I mean, it's like Ryan Murphy and FX. Mm-hmm. Like American Horror Story.
Yeah.
And then he did Glee with Fox.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of other shows that I'm drawing a blank on.
No, yeah, but he's gotten to bounce around.
Exactly.
But he still
had. I think he had a production deal with FX.
Yeah, you've seen that. American Horror Story's gone into how many iterations?
Like 8 or something.
Yeah, they're on their American Horror Story 1984. Their 80s.
Is that the most recent one?
Yeah, that's it. Like it was just showed their finale a week or in the last month or two.
But and now Ryan Murphy's with Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
$300 million deal. So there you go.
Yeah, and
but it just goes back to your point of like having the collective and just having a bunch of people around us producing content. Because I mean, Brad Falchuk was like his production partner, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Like they co-created Glee together, and then back to Shonda Rhimes, like How to Get Away with Murder. I think someone on her team like created that show, and she's producing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's just like utilizing your circle.
Yeah, but that's when when she first dropped with Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Then you saw. Remember, it spawned like at least two other spinoffs. It had not the practice. The one with Taye Diggs was on it for a hot minute, and then the direct.
I don't think I know that one.
Well, there were at least 2 direct spinoffs.
Okay.
Of Grey's Anatomy. And they both were reasonably successful. One went longer than the other, and then she did a Scandal.
Okay.
And I watched the first 3.
Wait, she created Scandal, right?
Yeah, she created Scandal, and that I was into the first 3 or so seasons of Scandal. That was actually a pretty good show in my opinion.
Okay.
I liked it. Kerry Washington, always a joy to watch.
Yep.
And then Scandal did its thing, and then she did How to Get Away with Murder, and that's had its success.
Yes.
Yet she's still doing Grey's Anatomy. She's still executive producing Grey's Anatomy.
Absolutely.
So she may no longer be the showrunner because she's doing 1,000 different things.
1,000 different things. Yeah.
But Shondaland Productions.
Exactly.
Shonda Rhimes, and if she says, "Hey, I've got an idea," somebody's gonna listen and go, "Well, here's my pocketbook. Develop that. Come back with me." Or here's here's your pilot. No problem. Or she can. The way she's got it now, she's got Shondaland. She can go and knock out a pilot and go, "Who wants it?"
Yeah.
And her first go-to is going to ABC because
not anymore. Because she has a first look deal with, an exclusive deal with Netflix.
Oh, for first look or for just straight
I think
exclusive?
It's like an exclusive deal. Yeah.
Well, for the other, her first 5 things went.
Okay.
Yes.
With those projects, she still most likely still speaks ABC on a daily basis and whatnot. Yeah. But for new projects.
Okay, for the new projects, she's got an exclusive. But before that exclusive deal, she had, ABC had first look, and they snapped up her first 5 projects. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's my thing of I have an idea. Okay, ABC's like, go shoot your pilot. Or she had it, with the success of Shondaland.
Because she's a proven success.
Yeah, with the production, her production company, Shondaland, of that, okay, we've shot a pilot for Scandal.
Yes.
ABC goes, okay, can you tweak this, tweak that? But other than that, we like it, So they had the first look. But if it hadn't, then she could if Scandal hadn't, if ABC says, okay, it's yours, it's cool, I can feel Shonda all up in there, but it's not what we're looking for right now. She would have shopped it, and somebody else would have picked it up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
With it wouldn't have been out. That show, that idea, anything by Shonda Rhimes would not have been out in the cold for very long.
Exactly.
And that's the same. But then we've got other names with that are like Ava DuVernay, who can come up with something, and it's not going to stay out in the cold very long.
Absolutely.
People are going to come to her and go, "You got something?
Yeah.
Tell me more." Or, "Oh, you have something to show." And so we have a lot of inspiration and those we can look to emulate their success, emulate how they've done things.
All right, continue.
I was going to say emulate how they've done things, and so decide whether we want to go with the new guy or go with the established and see who is offering the best deal for us, best creative deal where we can tell it the way we want, but also the longevity that we're looking for.
Yes. Because we don't want to create like a sci-fi epic that goes on this network for one season, then the network just goes bankrupt.
Yeah, and we've got to do the, hope that it gets picked back up by another network,
exactly.
like the Expanse, where they had 3 seasons. They were on sci-fi cable, and then, the nature of the business, it no longer was, but then seasons 4 and 5 get picked up by Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on Amazon now, and they've done a big push to, what? You remember the Expanse? But with that, it seems it came with the, okay, we're picking up the show, giving you 2 new seasons, and we have the license to show the first 3 seasons so people can catch up and then go right on into the new stuff that you're producing.
Didn't they do something similar for Battlestar Galactica?
If not Battlestar Galactica, another show of that ilk, of where they pick something up and they can run with it, you know, and that they can, because they were streaming everything that they stream already.
Gotcha. That
they can go and put the previous stuff out, the stuff related to it, as well as the new original content. But I'm seeing that with, an interesting thing like with Spectrum and them putting out their original stuff. They took a show from the 90s, Mad About You.
With Helen Hunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Paul Reiser.
Okay.
And 20 years later, they put out a whole season of what has happened to them, later.
Yeah.
Now that they're, the daughter that was born on the show is now going to college.
Netflix did something similar to Arrested Development.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, doing things like that of, they're, going back to the well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, things that had a success, the nostalgia bug, 10, 20 years ago, and they bring it back. And, it's like, oh, it's cool. I can dig it. And you have the power and the financial resources to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But they are also still getting out their original stuff. Spectrum, to use them as an example.
Seems like they're doing a lot in originals.
Yeah, they're trying. They had a show that my mom was watching.
And that's so interesting because that's a cable provider. Yeah. That's not a traditional network. That's a cable provider.
Who decided, we're a cable provider, we have an audience.
Yeah.
Literally, so let's put out our own original stuff. It's like, yeah, I can see that. I can understand it. It makes a logical sense. But they had an original show that I know my mom was watching for a while. It had Gabrielle Union.
Being Mary Jane?
No, there was a cop drama. So it was on recently, and they just went through their first season or their second season.
Wait, it's a recent show?
Within the last year or so.
Oh, wow. I thought her most recent television show was Being Mary Jane.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was Gabrielle Union, but I'm trying to think. It was it Gabrielle Union? It might not have been Gabrielle Union, but it was another sister, nice, model-esque sister, because they have this thing where she goes, they walk into a store, they're cops, and it's like, let me get a pack of Juicy Fruit, and the girl, her partner goes, let me get a pack of Skittles. It's cute that way. They're like in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But we're gotten off on the tangents again. They didn't even touch on
Spectrum getting into original content.
Spectrum getting into the original content has
DirecTV as well.
Yeah,
Friday Night Lights. That's I remember seeing Friday Night Lights on DirecTV, like an ad for it, and I was like, oh wow. Yeah. So this
they're doing that, and they're
doing that now. Yeah.
And I remember from the movie and from them being on NBC.
Yeah.
And they picked it up and tried to finish out their story. And I was like, yeah. So I have, business-wise, I think about how it affects us.
Yes.
But part of that, I think you can look at it of how it affects us, but how are you affecting the consumers?
I truly love the parallels. That was amazing. Like, as a content provider, great. More buyers seeking more content. But as a consumer, more platforms means they have to pay for more platforms.
Yeah, and they're gonna
just like
and that's gonna be a tough choice. They're gonna think with their pocketbooks, and they're gonna go, okay, well, I can trust Netflix, Hulu, Amazon,
trusted brands, Amazon, HBO,
HBO, Disney Plus. I can trust that these guys are gonna be here.
Yes,
and or
do I go with Quibi?
do I add Quibi on, pay another expense, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day 6 months from now and, Quibi's no longer in the, there available, channel no longer available when you go to click on it.
Yeah. Because
there was a show on it that you were liking, and it's like, man, and I was really liking that show. And yeah, you like that show, and a small subscriber base like that show regularly, but now they've got to, shock themselves to try to get picked back up.
But is it enough to sustain a network? Say, for example, perfect. You have a network with one good show. For example, name another show on Stars that you like.
On Stars?
Yeah. Besides Power. I like Power.
I like the show with Patrick Stewart where he was a talk show host. I can't remember the name.
There you go.
The reason why I can't remember the name because I always have a whole bunch of stuff running around in my head.
Well, you get my point, though. It's like an entire network, and I only care about one show.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not enough to sustain an entire network.
Mm-hmm. But that Star still exists, and Star's still out there. But Power is Power finally entering its final season? I think this is the final season.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and then what's next?
What are they going to drop next? Yeah. And as a network, you would hope that they are already, we would be in production about to drop when. So when the Power was over, it dropped its final season. Stay tuned for our new show.
Exactly.
Which would show their longevity versus now you're going to flip around. Oh, Power's no longer. Is there any episodes that I missed of Power? No? Okay. All right.
Cancel subscription.
Well, either cancel subscription or let me move on to something else, and maybe you hopefully hear about something else.
Most likely they're going to cancel their subscription because the main reason they got Stars was for Power.
Yeah, and
Power's been around for 6 seasons.
Yeah, and nothing immediately was dropped on them of, Power is over, but look at what we have coming next.
Exactly.
So that's on the network. And that's what you hope that Network 2.0 would be, we were, in our example, the 5 shows, 2 of them just didn't catch on. They were failures.
So they got canceled.
They got canceled.
And the 3rd show's on like Lifeline or something.
Yeah, the 3rd show's on Lifeline where, they have us and Lady Jane Grey, and we're both doing good. And we're hoping the network is bringing along 2 more shows to fill those slots.
Yeah.
Plus either having, long talks with show number 3 of, okay, here's how we think you should improve your show. What do you think you need to keep this show, to improve the show, to keep their longevity going, or, and that they're asking us and, okay, we need to fill these slots. We need to have something coming up because you mapped out 4 seasons of sci-fi.
Yeah.
After sci-fi goes, your sci-fi ends naturally. Is he going to have, is your characters going to have another event? You're going to focus on another character to keep that world, that character story is done, but that world is still alive. What are they asking us of to help them, to keep them in longevity of, where their power, we end, is that it? Because, and you would, in that instance, everybody likes money, everybody likes success. You would think they'd be like, okay, we're gonna, we don't want to lose you guys because your show carried us. You're the one memorable show, one of 2 memorable shows on our network, and then people are gonna unsubscribe because your show's finally ended. The actors have had to move on. Everybody succeeded from this.
Yes.
And so there's that. So it's business, but how do you look at the business?
Absolutely. Now,
well, we
we made a decision to stick to 1 hour, and for some reason we cannot.
we try. We're getting better at it, but okay. We could continue on because we've got other things, but we'll save that for.
We literally had 5 to 6 topics, and because the streaming topic is so important, like so important, because even you opened my eyes to looking at it from the consumer perspective. I don't think I've ever looked at it from that perspective. I've only looked at it from a content producer.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wow, more buyers. This is amazing. Yeah. Quibi's about to launch.
Yeah.
That's great. But then looking at it from a consumer point of view, is like, oh shit, the consumer's gonna have to pay for Quibi, which is like $3.99 or whatever a month.
Yeah, but how long are they gonna be $3.99?
Exactly. Then they're gonna have to pay for the Peacock and HBO Max, and
it's open for us. There's money out there for us to get so that we can put our stories out there.
Yes.
But who the end buyer? if there's
That's true. Perfect. Who's the end buyer? Not who's the immediate buyer.
Yeah.
Which is the network. But who's the end buyer?
Yeah, you know.
Who's going to end up actually paying for this content?
Who's going to watch this? Who's going to, hey, I'm happy that I've got that on my resume, on my, IMDb. You see that under, directed and produced this show.
That's cool.
But.
And we got a check for it. So that's
cool. I've got, I was able to buy a house, get new equipment. We have succeeded, but it's like, oh, you had a show?
Exactly.
People are looking at us like,
that's more important to me. The longevity of our programs,
that is
longevity of our content. Yeah, absolutely.
And
yes.
if they're priced out of, they've got to be smart with their buying dollar and going, I've got the major brands, and I can fit maybe one or two new guys that I heard have some interesting content on, and yet there's a field of 20.
Exactly.
So maybe 5, out of that field of 20. Yes. They've got, the 5 that they're definitely going to go to, and they fit one in. Exactly. So that's 6, maybe 7.
All right. I mean, looking at it from a consumer perspective, I'm not going to pay for the Peacock, and I'm definitely not going to pay for Quibi.
Mm-mm.
So there you go. So looking at it from a consumer point of view is like, okay, so as a consumer, I will not pay for these networks. But as a content producer, I will definitely sell to these networks.
Yes.
So it's like, wait a minute.
And
I wouldn't buy the network, but I would definitely sell content to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. And to, try to lead us into, but I have, to me personally, I have the perfect example of that for content. CBS Access.
Oh, yes.
I
even forgot about that.
I love Star Trek to day that.
I got CBS Access, the free trial, to watch the new Twilight Zone because of Jordan Peele.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I canceled it.
See? I love Star Trek. They did smart things of so I wanted to check out Discovery and see what they're going. I went at New York Comic Con this year. I went to the panel to see what they were talking about for season 2 of Discovery and get to see Patrick Stewart. Love me some Patrick Stewart. They were on. We enjoyed it and got to see new trailer, and it made us go, whoa, okay. Yeah, okay, I'm interested. But that's 2. 3 shows on there. Damn. But they're supposed to have, other things. That's 3 offerings out of X amount.
So are you still a subscriber?
No.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. It made me go, okay, when Picard drops, I will resubscribe.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Versus what we're saying of when CBS Access came out, you got it for Twilight Zone. And maybe there's a chance of that you would, a friend, we're having one of our social moments that we're just hanging out, and it's, oh, you got CBS Access? Have you seen, I wanted to show you something on Star Trek Discovery of an effect or something. Gotcha. to show you I think we could do this in a scale down, or here's this is influencing me in my on our sci-fi piece.
Yes.
So I showed it to you, and you happen to have CBS Access, so that's a new viewer that they've got only by happenstance. But you watched all of the Twilight Zone, the new Twilight Zone and everything, and that was why you got it. But then, like you said, you still unsubscribed.
I mean, being a subscriber to a network for 1 or 2 shows is a very bad business model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hulu. I mean, not Hulu. I said Hulu, but even Hulu. But Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, they offer genres and topics. And that's what helps them. I think that's part of the success of, you can go on there and they have Stranger Things on Netflix, but you can still watch a documentary.
Yes.
There's independent documentaries and science documentary things that.
And they do have weekly shows as well.
Yeah, they have weekly shows, or...
So that keeps you coming back.
Yeah,
For example, Explain, Hassan Minaj. So they have these, recurring shows.
Yeah, or their series, their original series that come out maybe once every 18 months, but people are looking forward to, they found out, the Magnificent Miss Maisel.
Isn't that for Amazon Prime? Yeah, that's right. Amazon
Prime. Well, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying.
They have a show on there.
Yes.
That, it takes them X amount of time to come out, but when they do come out with something new, it's, oh, here you go.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's like an event thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's an event. People were anticipating it, wondering what was going to go on, wondering what was going to be, when it was going to come next.
Absolutely.
So I think we're going to pick up this topic again because
definitely.
And see what Claude thinks of it. So we'll touch on this.
It's very important. The content producer, consumer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And this, that'll carry us, and then we may bring it back up again when our good friend episode. Teddy Valdez pops up.
Oh yeah.
To get more
definitely.
to see
other his
perspective, other thoughts on how people see things and how they feel about this particular subject, because it's important. It's affecting the business. It's changing the landscape for good and ill. And as would I feel comfortable recommending Network 2.0 if I didn't see the business model on the inside? And that's part of would be part of the pitch meeting, the initial negotiations of, even if they're the only offer on the table, I still want to ask is, where do you see the network? You're interviewing 5 years or something. You're interviewing us.
Absolutely.
We have to interview you.
Absolutely, because it's our content.
Yeah, it's our content,
yeah, absolutely. Giving us a check is nice, but the whole point for me is to create content that has longevity, not just to create these snack bite content, grab a check, and move on to the next.
Yeah,
that's not longevity.
And to bring up an original point of our unsaid mission statement, which we'll get around to telling everybody. But I think we did tell them in first episode. Go back and check that if you don't see what we're saying. If you want to hear what we said about that, controlling original property, controlling your IP.
Absolutely, yes,
and
very important to me.
So in
owning and controlling your IP.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So in that, it's like, okay, you're our tentpole. But because of it, we will promote it, and we get to do whatever, whenever, for however long.
No.
Versus, we're the tentpole. You're promoting us. We're promoting you. But if you fold after our second season or after our first season,
what happens to our content?
We get to take season 2.
Yes.
And to one of the other places.
Absolutely.
So that it gets picked up. People go, they liked our show. We were your tentpole, but we weren't. We couldn't carry you because it's just too much to try to carry on one show.
Yes.
And so the show was good. It was the reason why they went on. We were able to get 2 seasons out of them. And we kept getting our check. They went good by us, but their bigger business model failed. But people still want our show. Mm-hmm. So we had season 3 written and ready to produce. They're out of the picture. We can take it to someone else and go, so we have a following. People will come once they hear that, hey, our show, it's, we had a year break because we had to go find a new home. Yes. But now, Black Sci-Fi is now on Hulu. Come watch us there, and people will come and remember. They'll remember us. They'll want to see us again, and maybe like, oh well, on a new, bigger network, they may have more production value, or we can show them a few new things because we're on that. We're back down to that 5 million versus the 10, but they have access to things of we have a direct pipeline to like Weta Studio. So those, our RKP Studios group that was doing all our CG, and it looked good, which gave us a success, but we kept it to being studio shots and studio pieces and had the CGI and stuff for the fillers to get from one part to the one set piece, one studio shot to the other.
Yeah. Now
it's a whole thing where, we have different access. We can do a whole scene that's in space, and you see them, You understand? We have access to do things that we couldn't do before.
Yes.
Even though we may be doing it on less money, it was because there are things that with access to them we don't have to do that we needed that more money for.
Yeah.
And now it's we're on Hulu, and we can go another 2-3 seasons and finish the stories we were trying to tell. Doing it that way.
Absolutely. And to close out, we would just like to... I'll let you take this part.
Well, to close out, it's the to close out the show and to close out the year. It's been an interesting decade, the tens. Now we're gonna go into the what will it call the Roaring 20s, basically. So now we're going into the Roaring 20s of the 21st century, and we would like to pay our respects and condolences for those celebrities that we lost in 2019, and most names you should know, like unfortunately Toni Morrison, great writer.
Okay.
She passed away in 2019. Doris Day. Those who
you want to let them know something she's done, or
who? Toni Morrison.
Yeah.
Beloved.
Okay.
And Song of Solomon were works that she's been known for. She's a Pulitzer Prize winning author.
Okay.
And President Obama awarded Toni Morrison.
President Obama died.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Okay.
Before she passed, during his administration.
Okay.
So she's highly regarded.
Yeah.
Doris Day, she was in films with Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, wow.
And The Man Who Knew Too Much.
It's pretty impressive.
For you film buffs, she starred opposite Rock Hudson in several pictures. Mm-hmm. And, so she was known. Peter Mayhew, for those Star Wars fans. You beat me later. I misspoke. People, come.
They are gonna kill you.
Slay me. I'm a fan of both. By now, you should know. But the late great Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca, unfortunately passed away. An actress named Peggy Lipton.
Oh.
She was on the original Mod Squad back in.
Not only that, but she was married to Quincy Jones.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
that I do know.
She's the mother of Cadita Jones and the actress Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
Yep. She died on May 11th at the age of 72.
Oh, wow.
The football star Bart Starr. Mm-hmm. He was in the first 2 Super Bowls with the Packers.
Oh, wow.
He passed away. Carol Channing.
I don't know who that is.
There's some who might know. She was on stage and screen. She was in the Broadway, the original. She won a Tony in the original Broadway production of Hello, Dolly.
Okay.
And she was a little mousy blonde-haired woman, but she had a voice that you could never forget.
Gotcha.
There are those who would remember. A longtime friend and fellow comedian who worked with Carol Burnett, Tim Conway, passed away.
Oh, wow.
He, Rip Torn.
I think I've heard that name before.
If you saw Dodgeball, he played the coach.
Oh, okay. Yes. Then definitely yes.
Yeah, he passed away. Former presidential candidate Ross Perot. He went up against Bill Clinton in 1992.
Okay.
He was it was a kind of a 3-way election, and he passed away. He was a billionaire as well.
Okay.
He ran as an independent, and we all know John Singleton.
Yes.
And he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Menace to Society.
Exactly. And, he passed away.
Wait, Higher Learning as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite films. Higher Learning.
It was because of John Singleton that everybody started speaking about the, South Central LA stories. More.
I think that was Menace to Society was one of Ice Cube's first major roles.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. Oh, Boys in the Hood, not Menace to Society.
But Boys in the Hood put Ice Cube on the acting map.
Yes.
And unfortunately, he passed away very young.
Like 50-something, right?
Yeah, he was 51.
Damn.
Yeah, that keep yourself out there. Do checks on your friends. It'll come for you.
Yeah, 51 is, and Damn, I'm gonna mess up his name. Witherspoon.
John Witherspoon. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna mention, but yeah, John Witherspoon, the voice of Granddad on the Boondocks. He was the Bang Bang Man.
Yeah. Bang Bang.
Yeah. Those out there who have a Cartoon Network, Black Jesus.
Yo.
He was on that show.
Nice.
Representative Elijah Cummings.
Oh, wow, yep.
He passed away recently.
Civil rights activist.
Civil rights activist, long-serving congressman.
Yeah.
90210 fans and Riverdale. Unfortunately, Luke Perry passed away. If you recall, he was very young. Then you had former Chrysler CEO Lee Iacocca.
I think I read his book.
Yeah, exactly. TV show fans might remember Valerie Harper.
Oh wow.
She did she was on the Mary Tyler Moore show, and she had her own show on NBC way back in the day called Valerie.
Oh wow.
Which I think was a late spinoff of that.
Oh, okay.
Diane Carroll. She was Oscar nominated for Claudine back in 1974. She died at the age of 84. Also, she made television history by being the star of a show called Julia.
Oh, really?
Which it was the first star on network TV first show on network TV to star an African American woman.
Oh, okay.
You had Peter Tork of the Monkees, who passed away.
Not familiar with him.
It was a TV show. They were a Beatles parody.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
they had, like I said, they had a TV show that ran like around the same time as the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch. Jan Michael Vincent passed away. Now it's a bit of a shock. He did a lot of those 1980s action, kind of B-movie action movies.
Oh, okay.
One called The Big Wednesday. He also played on Bonanza and Gunsmoke back in the early 70s.
Oh,
wow. Fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld passed away in Paris back on February 19th.
Oh, speaking of fashion, what's her name? No, not Donna Karan. Kate Spade.
Yeah, she passed away. The British actor Albert Finney.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the it was a Tim Burton film. Big Fish. That's what
okay.
It was. I've seen that movie. That was a pretty good movie. But he also acted on the British Broadway, the British stage, and on Broadway. He's a well-known actor. You'd recognize. You may not remember his name, but you'd recognize his face in a lot of those things. Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh, okay.
Mother of Anderson Cooper, as well as the Vanderbilt family legacy and fashion design. Grumpy Cat. The original Grumpy Cat passed away when he was an old cat, but everybody knows those memes that are still floating around there.
Definitely.
Peter Fonda.
Oh wow.
You know who Peter Fonda is.
Yeah. Easy Rider.
Yep. John Witherspoon, Eddie Money, rock musician.
Okay.
2 Tickets to Paradise. The song you might not know. He's a lot of Grammy nominated songwriter. Baby Hold On, Take Me Home Tonight. Some of the songs he's known for.
All right, let's get two more.
All right, 2 more. Names that you would know. Rip Taylor.
Okay.
Rip Taylor passed away. And let's see, one more. Oh, and Renee Auberjonois.
Oh, wow. Well done.
For something that people should know, for Star Trek fame as Odo.
Okay.
He was on the show Benson with Robert Guillaume as the chief of staff who was a hypochondriac, and a good character actor. He also did a lot of voice work, and he passed away only less than a month ago.
Oh wow!
And so that was 2019. There were definitely a lot more famous names that passed away, but it makes you think. And it also, it makes you think. It makes you wonder. Remember to enjoy their work, their past work, and also, time's not guaranteed to us. So let's just go out there and get what we got to get.
Exactly.
Work hard. It was a good year. We started up, so we officially started up. We've been working long before then, but we officially started up. So hey, great things are happening.
This is like the third episode of a podcast we came up with like less than 2 months ago.
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
And we're on the right path to knock out our first official short, which should be something that happens in the first quarter of
the new year.
The new year.
Yeah.
We're going strong. We know there are people listening. We've seen the likes and the subscribe. So thank you, everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep listening to us. We'll try to keep entertaining you. Remember, on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Facebook, keep looking for our messages. Thank you for the love on Instagram. And share, tell your friends.
Yeah. Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, Apple Podcasts, everything. Podcast Addict.
All of the good, those channels. You recommend us because we're only going to get better.
Absolutely.
We're only gonna do more.
Yeah.
But we can't do it without you. And we thank you for the love. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And we'll see you on the other side.
And with that, I'm Rob.
I'm Logan.
And you just listened to The Creative Zone.
Peace.
The Creative Zone with Rob and Logan. Produced by Robb Entertainment and Kurohio Productions. Mixed by Production DS. Music by Hope Beats.
This has been a Robb Radio Network production. Check out our website at rrn.robbent.com. Thank you for listening.